This was Sunday night. I was at the airport, about to request an Uber when I checked the Lyft prices. $20 cheaper to take Lyft. So I requested one and almost canceled it because it was taking a while to find someone. When eventually a driver was found. Pretty much as soon as I entered the car and we started driving, he saw where I lived and started talking about murdering people, especially those on bikes, in city I live. It wasn't just a once-off line either. He kept going on and on about it. How he'd get the cold sweats afterward and decided he didn't want to feel that, so he'd try not to. During this, I'm texting my boyfriend because dude is just making me feel super weird. I wasn't really trying to converse with him, so all of this was unsolicited information. Then he was saying how he was going to do a haunted house and make it seem super lame and like it was over, and then once you leave when you thought you were safe, he'd get you. I asked him how would you do that because I feel like a lot of people are really aware of their surroundings and I would definitely see you coming. Then he said, "You never know, I might just get you tonight." I laughed and said, "I don't think so," as he's literally pulling up to my apartment. When we parked he just kept talking, so I'm like okay bye, and I had to unlock the car door myself, and when I got out to grab my luggage from the trunk he almost took off with it. It was weird to both when he picked me up and dropped me off, he'd just stand behind me like a weirdo. It was super uncomfortable. He definitely knows which apartment I live in, and I'm pretty sure Lyft fired him. Edit. It's been a few weeks and I haven't seen him or his car hanging around my place even once. We'll continue to keep an eye out for him, though. Something very scary to me at the LAX airport, and I didn't realize the gravity until this morning. Following my gut instinct saved our lives. My husband and I were in California seeing my grandma and grandpa. We were waiting for a Lyft driver to come and pick us up to take us to my grandpa's house when a man with a Lyft sticker pulled up to where we were. The designated rideshare pickup told us that he was ready for new riders and could take us now, and when we were in the car just add that we were on his route. I started to consider it as he was just right there and the convince was nice. He even took the phone from my hands to try and cancel the Lyft we had already ordered. But it seemed weird to me and my gut was screaming no, don't go. He got upset and said we wasted his time. Big eye roll, he got in his car and drove away. As he did, I took a photo of his license plate. I immediately emailed Lyft. They did an investigation and this morning I got an email that said that license plate has never been used in their system, and they are happy I didn't go with the man. Similar things in Los Angeles have gotten people killed. Guys, my gut instinct probably saved our lives. I'm a 22-year-old male, and I live in a large city in the Midwest. Now, I drive for Lyft while putting myself through trade school. I drive for other similar companies, but that's besides the point. I have many horror stories from those as well, but I'll tell those another time. It was Christmas Eve 2020. I was out running Lyft for a few hours before heading to my mom's with my new baby and wife. Nothing special going on for the night. Just the usual. I get a ride request. It was a pickup from this kinda lower income apartment complex. No big deal. I arrive, and I find my passenger. He has all his belongings. Several boxes of stuff. Now, my car is a 2006 Chewy Impala, so it's not too big. We get all his stuff loaded up, barely, and are on our way. During the ride he's crying saying his girlfriend was cheating on him, and he had walked in on them earlier that night. He couldn't stay there because it was her name on the lease. So, I was taking him to a hotel. Now, in my city, we have a street that is well known for having vices. Hookers, drugs, gangs, weapons, and shady motels. the works. We get to the motel. He asks me to wait for him to check in and get his key. No problem, man, I say. I'll confess, I break the rules a little when it comes to Lyft. I have a gun hidden in a concealed holster secured to the underside of my driver's seat for protection. Reason being, driving Lyft and other contract apps, I've had knives and guns pulled on me, as well as people have tried to fight me, rob me, and all kinds of other things. But, like I said, another time. This motel was on that street I mentioned before. Homeless people were everywhere. There was a dude on the far corner of the complex that still had a needle in his arm, passed out against the building. And I'm a big fan of true crime and horror narration, so I'm on edge. He gets his key. The whole motel is ground level, so to help the guy out, I drive to his door. As I mentioned before, he had a lot of stuff. So, I started to help him unload his stuff. While on my second trip getting stuff, I saw a guy come out of a room just to the south of my car, followed by two ladies. They came up to the room I was next to, not my passenger. One of the ladies pounded on the door, then opened it. That's when I saw the guy raise a fucking shotgun up out of his long coat and storm into the room. The two ladies followed his, slamming the door behind them. Following, I heard a lot of yelling and shouting. I was just waiting for shots to ring out. Out of nowhere, my passenger came up behind me. I can take this, man. Go ahead and take off. Have a Merry Christmas. And he gave me a cash tip. I didn't even notice he took the boxes out of my hands or slid a $5 bill in my pocket. I was frozen. I knew what may have been going down in that room. I had to leave, or at least get to where I could get my gun. I knew what may have been going down in that room. I had to leave, or at least get to where I could get my gun. I know the guy and both ladies saw me, and I know they knew I saw the gun. I had to get out of there. You know, no witnesses. I got in my car and sped away quickly. I got a block or so away and called the cops. I have them in every detail. After I got off the phone with the police, I signed out of Lyft. I hadn't made much money, but I was done. I got a call later that night. The cops investigated. They never found the gunman or the women. They never answered the door I saw them come out of. And the occupants of the room they went into said nothing had happened and that I was full of shit. Well, I know what I saw.